lecture is Education 11122, Edu 122.
Students, my name is Mrs. L.O. Adejo from Department of Curriculum and Instruction, School of Secondary Education, FCE Zaria. I want to use this medium to welcome you to the second semester NC1 2019-2020 academic section. Today, I will be teaching you Education 122, and the course title is Introduction to Teacher Education. The areas to be covered in today's lecture are the concept of teacher education. We'll also look at the objective of teacher education, and thirdly, we'll look at the roles of the teacher in the school and as a member of the society. I said we'll cover three major areas today, and they are the concept of teacher education, the objective of teacher education, as well as the role of the teacher as a member of the school and as a member of the society. By the end of today's lesson, it is expected that every student in the class should be able to define teacher education, and also be able to list some objective of teacher education and categorically state some roles of the teacher as a member of the school and as a member of the society. Before we discuss the concept of teacher education, it is important to remind ourselves who a teacher is and what education is. So if I may ask, who is a teacher? Who is a teacher? A teacher is a person who teaches, instructs, and imparts knowledge to others. I said a teacher is a person who teaches, instructs, and imparts knowledge to others. A teacher also can be seen as a person who inculcates skills and morals to a learner or a group of learners. So it is a responsibility of a teacher to impart knowledge, to inculcate knowledge, to instill knowledge to the learners. And these learners are usually taught from what they know to what they do not know. That makes you a perfect teacher when you are able to carry your learners to a level of understanding from what they know and to what they do not know. Having known who a teacher is, it is important for us to now know what education is as well. What is education? Education is a process of acquiring knowledge, skills, values, competencies, and morals that bring about a change in behavior of an individual or a group of learners. I said education is a process of acquiring knowledge, skills, values, competencies, and morals that bring about a change in behavior of an individual or a group of learners. When a student is being educated, when you have acquired some skill, it is expected that there should be a positive change in your behavior. That makes education to be acquired. So, having seen what education is, it's now paramount for us to look at the meaning of teacher education. Teacher education has no specific definition. It has no permanent or a particular definition. This is because it is defined in various ways by different scholars. Now we'll look at some definition by some scholars, and then we'll know what teacher education is. Teacher education, as described by Fafunwa in 1974, is a set of educational activities and experiences designed to equip a prospective teacher with the skills, competencies, knowledge, and disposition, which helps to develop his personality as well as making him a competent teacher. According to Fafunwa, that teacher education is a set of educational activities. These activities are being designed to equip a prospective teacher so that this teacher will be able to be developed in his personality and making him or her a competent teacher. Having known what teacher education is, according to Fanfunwa, it is also ideal for us to see another definition of teacher education. Good Dictionary of Education define the concept of teacher education as all the formal and non-formal activities and experiences that help to qualify a person to assume responsibility of a member of the education profession or to discharge his or her responsibility more effectively. I take that again. Good Dictionary of Education defines the concept of teacher education as all the formal and non-formal activities. When we say formal, we mean that activities that takes place within the school, and also it could be non-formal activities outside the school. And then these activities are leads to experiences that helps the learner to qualify him as a person to assume the responsibility of a member of the education profession, or enabling this individual to discharge his or her duties appropriately. In another context, teacher education refers to the policies and procedures designed to equip prospective teachers with the knowledge, attitude, behavior, and skills that they require to perform their tasks effectively, either in the classroom, in the school, or even in their wider community. We all believe that as long as we are students, when we acquire this knowledge, we go into our community, and it's expected that whatever we acquire as learners should affect our community positively. Therefore, in summary, we can say that teacher education is a preparatory program. It prepares the learner, and this program is designed to enable a prospective teacher with all the needed competencies before this teacher can assume the role of a professional teacher. Here, when we talk about a prospective teacher, we are also meaning that such an individual is known as a student teacher. A prospective teacher is a student teacher undergoing a training to become a professional teacher. Such an individual can also be referred to as a would-be teacher or a pre-service teacher, and also a teacher to be. All this qualifies him or her to be known as a prospective teacher. Now, what are the objectives of teacher education? Since we have known what teacher education is, what are the objectives of teacher education? Teacher education is set out to achieve some objective, and specifically we'll be looking at 5 objectives of teacher education. The first objective of teacher education is to produce highly motivated, conscious, and efficient classroom teachers for all levels of our educational system. What we mean here is that as a good teacher or teacher to be, after during the process of training, a teacher is it is expected that a teacher should be motivated, he should be conscious, and also become an efficient classroom teacher for all levels of our educational system. We have 3 levels of our educational system, which are the primary level, the secondary level, and the tertiary level. So when you become a professional teacher, you should be able to fit into all this level of our educational system. If you find yourself in the primary school, you teach effectively. If you find yourself in the secondary school, you can be able to match up. And when you find yourself in the tertiary institution or tertiary level of system of education, you can also discharge your duties effectively. The second objective is to encourage further the spirit of inquiry and creativity in teaching. I said to encourage further the spirit of inquiry and creativity in teaching. There's need for teachers to make inquiries. When you make inquiries, it will help you to grow in your profession. And also, one thing that adds beauty to your profession as a teacher is to be creative. A creative teacher will create creative learners. Then thirdly, to help teachers to fit into the social life of the community and the society at large, and enhance their commitment to national objective. This will enable teachers to fit into the social life of the community and the society at large. Now, the fourth objective of teacher education is to provide teachers with the intellectual and professional background adequate for their assignment. I said to provide teachers with the intellectual and professional background adequate for their assignment. And the fifth objective of teacher education, which we are going to look into today, is to enhance teachers' commitment to the teaching profession. As a teacher, you must be committed to your duty. So, one objective of teacher education is to enhance teachers' commitment to the teaching profession. When these objectives of teacher education are successfully achieved, it is expected that on completion of teacher training, such student teacher becomes an effective and useful member of their communities, Secondly, they are to become loyal citizens of the nation. I said, on completion of a teacher training, it is expected that a student teacher becomes an effective and useful member of their communities. Secondly, they are expected to become loyal citizens of the nation. Thirdly, he or she must have a good moral conduct. So if you have been educated and you have been trained as a professional teacher, it is expected to be seen in the way you behave. So you must be able to conduct yourself as a good teacher. Then fourthly, the student teacher should be knowledgeable, progressing, and be an effective teacher who will inspire pupils and challenge them to learn. It is your responsibility as a teacher to challenge pupils, make them to have interest to learn. And then the last point here is that such a teacher, that is the student teacher now, should be an assistant to the child by helping the child or the learner to adapt to the environment, as well as development of skills useful to them and their environment. So these are the expectations of a student teacher. When you have completed your training as a student teacher, these listed items are expected to be paramount in your behavior. Now, we'll also look at the last area to be covered in today's class is the roles of a teacher in the school and as a member of the society. I used to hear people say a very important statement that responsibilities are always given to people that are responsible. So if you are a responsible teacher, you have some responsibility to play, and those responsibilities are what we tag as the roles and duties of a teacher. So as a responsible teacher, we have responsibilities. Teachers have roles to play in the school and in the society. You know that when you come to the school, you come from a society into the school, and then from the school, you go back to the society to meet with different people. You have a responsibility to play. So now we'll look at some roles of a teacher in the school. Due to our time, we are going to look at 5 roles of the teacher in the school, but there are many of such roles of the teacher in the school, but due to time constraint, we will look at just 5 roles of the teacher in the school. The first role of the teacher in the school is to exercise the role of a model, especially to the learners. That is, the teacher should be an example. You as a teacher is an example to your learners. Your learners see you. Your learners should learn positive attitude from you. You stand as a mirror. Your life is a reflection to the learners. When they see you, they want to learn something from you. So you must give them the right value. You must teach them the right way and behave the right manner, so that you can be a perfect example from your learners. You know, children at times, especially in the primary school, when you have them and they go home after school, they always want to do things based on what their teachers say. Even when you try to correct them, they want to challenge you and say, my teachers say. So there's something they are learning from the teacher. Ensure that you give them the right value so that they can learn positive things from you, because you exercise the role of a model to them. Secondly, the role of a teacher in the school is to take part in decision making. The teacher should take part in decision making. This means that a teacher should contribute in the aspect of decision making for the progress of the school and the learners. When there is need for you to contribute positively and take decision, ensure you stand to take such decision and contribute positively so that the learners and the school can grow as well. Thirdly, the teacher's responsibility in the school is to work among colleagues as a team member. There is nobody that is perfect on his own. Learning is a continuous process. We learn every day. So as a good teacher, you work with your colleague as team members. This will enhance better relationship. This will also enable you to learn new things that you do not know before. Then fourthly, ensure good classroom management for conducive and effective learning of the pupils or the student. It is your responsibility as a teacher to ensure good classroom management. You are in charge of the class, you are a master of your class, so ensure that you teach your learners and conduct your class in an appropriate manner. Manage your class to earn respect so that your teaching and learning will take place effectively. Lastly, on the roles of the teacher in the school is to decide on a suitable teaching method effective for teaching and learning processes. Decide on suitable teaching method effective for teaching and learning processes. It is your duty as a teacher to decide on a particular method that fits the level of the learners. We have different teaching methods, and as this teaching method ranges, so it also differ from the learners that it should be used with. We know that primary school children are more familiar with the playway method, the storytelling method. If it is applicable to them, use it for them. So it is your responsibility as a teacher to decide on the suitable method that will be effective for your learners so that effective teaching and learning processes will take place. Now, we also look at the roles of a teacher as a member of the society. Teachers in the society should be embodiment of exemplary citizenship. In as much as you are an example in the school, that should not be different from you. That should not be different from the community. When you go out into the community or back to your society after school, you should continue to be an example to the people out there. Don't be that kind of teacher that say to the learners, do what I say, but don't do what I do, because of your negative attitude. Ensure that your attitude is positive at all times so that they will see you, they will do what you say and also do what you do to affect their lives positively. So you must have integrity and participate actively in the development of the community. Secondly, the teacher should be a teacher that have tolerance. Teachers should accommodate the diverse culture, religion, and other ideologies and practices of the society and promote good interhuman relation. When you are there in the society, there are other people with different religion, different culture. You should be able to accommodate and tolerate their different religion so that you can have good human relation with people in your community. The third point here is good personal habits. Teachers should cultivate personal habits that are capable of portraying the profession to be of very high standard by avoiding indecent behavior and social vices. As a good teacher there in your community, you should be able to cultivate good personal habits that are capable of portraying the profession to be of high standard. You know that teaching is a profession. We should not look down on the profession by the way we behave. Our attitude should speak well of our profession. So when you are out there in the community, have a good personal habit by keeping your environment clean, by behaving in a decent way. And this behavior, when you put them on correctly, it will affect the society positively. Then fourthly, we have inculcate value orientation in the life of the member of the society. Inculcate value orientation in the life of the member of the society, and also obedience to the law as it applies to Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, that is TRCN. All these mentioned are few among the roles of the teacher in the society. We have other roles of the teacher in the society. I will leave you up to that to go and read more and learn more about the roles of a teacher in the society. So having gone through all this area, it is paramount for us to understand that the teacher should be responsible in the school and also should be responsible in the society. So for today's lesson, we have been able to cover this three basic area of education 122. That is the definition of teacher education, the objective of teacher education, as well as the roles of teacher education. So as we expect to have more time next week to look at other topic, I will leave you with an assignment, and then you will go and study and prepare for our next class. So our first assignment here for today is for you to list all the national objectives. Remember, I said that one objective of teacher education is to help you to abide to national objective. So list and explain 3 national objectives. Secondly, write more roles of the teacher in the school and roles of the teacher as a member of the society. We have come to the end of our class today. I want you to have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next class. Thank you.
Next lecture is education